if I saw another day, only to scream into the night. Nothing ever tries to change, even if I want to realize. 'Cause I've been sitting here, same old ways, taking off without the same escape. Darling, when you go away, it won't be as simple for you.
Yo, guys, it is Old Man G here, back again with another preview for Red Devil Studio. I'm joined by Ant from Ant's Leicester Fan Channel. Ant, how are you doing?
I'm all right, mate. I was enjoying that music, mate. That's actually, that's mad, isn't it? No, I'm good, mate. I hope you're doing well as well.
I'm doing well. It's funny because every single new person that comes on, when I start streaming, I was like, yeah, can this go on for like another 2 or 3 minutes? You know, I'm getting into it. It's good. Yeah. So, guys, we are back. We are back. Obviously, international break over. Thank goodness. Some better than for others, but we're here to do a match preview. Leicester City versus Manchester United. Before we get into it, if you need to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio, follow me on Twitter and X. And same, please go over to Ant's channel. Link will be in the description. Ant, what's your Twitter as well?
Ant_LCFC. I think it's also got FA Cup Winners 2021 in it at the moment, so make sure to check that one out. Yes, I am that shameless.
Yeah, but you have won a trophy more recently than Manchester United, so I can't even hate. I can't even hate. So yeah, like let's just basically get straight into it. So I thought we'd start off, as I said, with like how the season been going so far, and is it reasonable to say that it's not been going so great for Leicester City compared to last season? There's been a few hiccups, a few bumps. Like, what's been going on?
A bump is a nice way to put it. I'd say, okay. Like, it's strange because heading into this season, on paper, we are stronger than we were last season. We brought relatively well in the summer market. We've improved our depth with Samare, who's one of the brightest up and coming midfielders across the top 5 leagues, really, in terms of that prospect. Daka looks a brilliant prospect from Salzburg. He was always going to take time to settle in. Bertrand, who's not that big name signing, but he's a solid rotation option at left back. And then Vestergaard, who's just a lamppost. So, like, realistically, it's like it has been frustrating, but I know like the media hasn't let you know the fact that you aren't going to have your 2 starting centre backs this weekend. We haven't had our starting centre backs or starting left back, and then a lot of our starting right back all season. So we've been playing like Daniel Amati, a midfielder, who would be about our 4th choice midfielder at centre back. We've been playing like Luke Thomas, who's not really ready for first team, or at least to be a first team regular, starting at left back. We've got Vestergaard, who's about, I don't know, I've never seen a player as slow as Yannick Vestergaard, I'll put it like that.
I was surprised you guys signed him, to be honest. Like, I mean, he's not terrible, but some few times playing for Southampton, and he wasn't exactly the most reliable centre back. So, but he's good for depth, I think, because maybe someone.
Yeah, I agree. A good depth signing, and if he came in as a 4th choice centre back, which is what it will be when Johnny Evans is fit again, when Ciancio and Fofana are available, then yeah, he's a good 4th choice centre back. You don't want him starting every game. Like, how can you be 6'7" and not be able to head a football? Like,
yeah, it's
like, I just don't understand.
Very, very, very strange.
The thing is, it's always going to happen. We've got so many of our transfers bang on over the last few years. there's always going to be a few that just don't work out. And I know it's very quick to write him off, and I don't want to do that, but it just hasn't been a good start to his Leicester career.
You have the is it Daka? Is it the
Patson Daka?
Yeah, he seems like a good signing.
Yeah, he seems a good signing, but he's in a difficult position because he's probably got our two most informed players in front of him in terms of Iheanacho and Vardy for game time.
Of course.
It's always going to be a struggle for him, particularly at the moment, to get a look in. But it's what we've been building towards over the last few years. Is for so long it was Vardy or oh god, we're screwed. But now we've got options. We've got options on the wings as well. We've got Barnes, Lookman, we've got obviously Albright and stuff. So it's not as if what typically has been Leicester for the last few years is the fact we've got a starting 11, then you look on the bench and it's just a huge drop off. It's something that's been addressed, but as that's been addressed, half of our team's got injured. So
yeah. No, I think that's a pretty good update. And shout out to those who are watching. By the way, guys, please remember to like and share the vid. A lot, I think, who are not Rasmus, Ifak, and you're both United fans, and CFC time. Big up Red Devil, waiting for that. Okay, it might come. Who knows? Who knows? CFC, it might. But I actually think that Chelsea are treble favourites this season. Just putting it out there. You guys will go for it. And Big One Shopper says, can we swap midfields?
If you want to make something depressing, you've paid more in add-ons for Fred than we've paid for ndidi and Tielemans combined.
That's just. I don't know about that. But to be fair, and I'll give so Fred was not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's signing, so people can't. People seem to, Ole Fred. It's like it wasn't even his signing. His signing was he even signed his. This was Bob. The only midfield sign Ole Gunnar Solskjaer made has obviously been Bruno and Van der Beek. Van der Beek, enough said, but Bruno speaks himself.
I think with Fred, he's not a bad player, but he's obviously not worth what you've played for him. But playing him next to McTominay, and I think this is the same for McTominay, they just cancel each other out so much. And like you need to play one of them next to a proper CDM. But honestly, I think neither of them are starting level for what United should be. I think they're both good bench players to have, but the fact that they start in, week out, is probably why, yes, you get results, but your football is dire at times.
It's bad. It's a difficult one because I don't think we have the squad right now to play for one holding midfield and run a proper DM. Because when we have tried to do that, a lot of times if Fred's doing it solely, and Tommy's doing it solely, even sometimes when Matic is doing it, for different reasons. One, with the one holding, we end up being very, very exposed, especially on the counter-attack. And you saw that against Young Boys in a few other cases. And with Matic is actually probably our best one of doing it, but he can't do that for 90 minutes. He could probably only do that for a half at best. And he can only really play one game a week. So in a difficult situation where, if you play Fred, Pogba and Bruno, for example, but you leave yourself very exposed, or you play with Matic, which is fine, it's comfortable, but he can't really do that for full 90 minutes. And then suddenly we kind of get overrun because he's not got the pace to really deal with quick attackers.
This is something I wanted to ask you about this because I've seen a few United fans saying it, but why is Matic still at the club if he can't play games? I genuinely don't understand why I haven't shipped him off because if he's not fit to play games and stuff, surely then him being there is blocking it like a Craig Gardner sort of pathway to the first team. I mean,
you could say the same thing about Juan Mata. It's
about?
Yes, he's still in the club. Yeah, you don't see it, but he's still there. No, he's still there, man. He's still there. So Fred, this is the thing. Fred, CFC makes a good point. Fred actually for Brazil actually plays quite well. But the thing that you need to understand is the position that Fred plays in Brazil is actually his position. I've always said Fred is actually not a holding midfielder or DM. He's more, when he was at Shakhtar, he was more of a box-to-box. Yeah. And in the Brazil team, he's playing where you've got Casemiro and Fabinho. So, of course, he can do what he can do and pass and pass. So, for me, Fred and McTominay are actually, at their best, box-to-box midfielders. they're not defensive midfielders, and unfortunately, they're having to play a position that they're not really good for and are not their natural position, so to compensate, which isn't really ideal. So just if Ollie goes, who's replacement? Luis Enrique for me. Man's coaching the hell out of babes. I'll ask that question to you actually. Like if we were to, just as an unbiased fan, like if we were to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who do you think that United should replace him with? Realistically,
I think there's two answers for this. There's who you should replace him with, which would be someone like Zidane or maybe, I don't think Conte really fits United, but a manager that's going to come in like Zidane, who's going to have that ethos around him, that winning mentality of we are getting back to the level that we should be, which is the way that Man United see themselves. But your board don't want that pressure and that sort of responsibility of having someone like that who's going to demand off them. So it wouldn't surprise me if you went out, you got rid of, if Ollie went, you go and get another yes man who's just grateful to be in the job and will sort of keep his mouth quiet and just be like, yes, sir, thank you, sir. So
like
it's two different answers. It's the answers that you want to hear, which is Zidane, but it wouldn't surprise me. Like I know it's going to sound ridiculous if you ended up getting a Southgate or something like that.
You know how painful what you just said affected my heart, right?
Would you say
I was like, and the thing is, this is the thing, is that this is why I see a lot of Manchester United fans on Twitter saying, Zidane's there, Conte, all these different managers, with the assumption that we have a competent board that will select the competent manager. And I just think that you're right. They go and we're like, well, we need someone who, as you said, is a yes man, who's control, who understands the ethos of the club, who we can control. Yeah, Gareth Southgate probably is a good idea. Gareth is a good idea.
Steve Bruce is an old player, isn't he? He's going to be out of the job next week. Job for the boys and all of that.
Yeah. And people think we're joking, but that's why, I've always said I'm Ollie indifferent, which means that because I feel the situation, the issues are higher up anyway. And that I don't trust the board to make the right managerial appointment. So people might rejoice when Ollie goes, but are they going to have that same energy when you get a Southgate or a Steve Bruce, etc.? Probably not,
Can I say, do you reckon if you had a competent board, I've said this about you guys for a long time, if you had a competent board, Ollie wouldn't be your manager? I think he's too much of a work in progress for a club like Man United. Man United should be looking for those managers that have done their hard yards at clubs like I think Graham Potter's too early in his development.
Yeah,
but maybe not Pochettino because he hasn't won anything, but those managers that are sort of either right on their way up or at the top of the ladder, they shouldn't be taking on novices, which is why you keep hearing all the buzzwords like process and building for the future and stuff.
Yeah.
Realistically, are you in any better place? Like on paper, yes, your team is. Are you in a better place than you were under Mourinho? Because Mourinho was winning you trophies. And
the only thing I always say to this is that we're better in the sense that if Ollie gets sacked, he's probably the only manager that's left the team in a better position in terms of the squad than he started.
Yeah,
because when Ollie inherited, there was quite a bit of deadwood, the teams of dysfunction and stuff. So at least I know if a world class manager comes in, we don't have to do rebuilds or all the rest of it. It's like you've got a good squad, much like when Tuchel went into Chelsea. It's like you've got a good squad, you can use it, do it. So I will always give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer credit for building a competent, functional team that I believe can compete for titles. But likewise, you said, from a trophy achievement point of view, no, we're not in a position then, we need to, and the thing is, we've been, we were in a final, we should have won that Europa. If we'd won the Europa League and finished second, I would have said he's achieved what Mourinho's achieved, because I don't care about the League Cup, to be honest. But he lost the final on penalties. So yeah.
I think as well, the thing with Ollie is it's almost a masterstroke from a board. because he's absolutely loved by your fan base, and correctly and rightly so for that goal. And obviously being, I don't know if you'd class him as a club legend or a great, not really for me to decide as a Leicester fan, but he's a player that's ingrained in your club's history. He's always going to be given more time by your fans than, say, if it was, just as an example, obviously, just say Brendan Rodgers, just as a hypothetical. If Brendan Rodgers was doing what Ollie's doing at the moment, he would be taking absolute pelters from United fans. But I think because it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, everyone loves him, Ollie's at the wheel and all of that. Your fan, he does get it. I would say it's starting to wear out, but he has been given more time than someone who didn't have that link to the club would be.
No, I agree with that. I agree. Let's quickly sort of move on and just talk about starting 11s, and obviously let you go first, Dan. But because obviously, I think both of our teams are glaringly missing our starting centre backs. Obviously, we have no Varane or Maguire, so it's going to be Lindelof and Bay, which I genuinely don't know how that's going to work, to be honest. On your injury front,
right? So I'm going to show this to you guys. I've written notes of the starting 11, and since Brendan Rodgers has done his press conference, 3 of these players are unavailable. So brilliant!
Wow.
So
wow. Go on.
So Vestergaard picked up a knock for Denmark. He's going to be assessed tomorrow morning. Johnny Evans, there was hope that he would be available. Looks like that's very unlikely.
Okay.
And then Castagne is also a 50-50. So brilliant. Fun times, eh?
You know what? I'm gonna, because just to help with the viewers, I'm gonna just get the formation generator up, and then just almost get both of them there. So let's just actually share it. So if I have the Manchester United one that I suspect will be there, because you guys still play 4-2. You play 4-2-3-1 as well, don't you?
4-4-2. Go on.
Sorry, 4-4-2. Good old
to be fair, I say 4. It changes from game to game,
doesn't it?
4-2-3-1 to 4-2-2, but 4-2-2 is what 4-4-2 is what I'm hoping we go for.
Right. Okay. So this would be like less. Okay. So Leicester starting 11 potentially. how would you? So Schmeichel will probably be a goal. Like, how are you predicting your team?
This is going to be depressing by the end of this, but
spell Schmeichel.
Left back. I'm going to go Castagne optimistically, but he's going to be fit. But you've done what I always do when I give up with Schmeichel and just put Casper.
It's like I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Get your questions in, by the way, guys. Get your questions in if you have questions for me or Anman. So it's Castagne.
Yeah, hopefully. If not, it'll be Ryan Bertrand. But centre back, Daniel Amati.
Okay.
Oh, this is. I don't know who the other centre back will be. Jesus Christ. Might have to ship Wes out of retirement.
Put ndidi there. Ndidi's out as well, isn't he? Oh yeah.
This is why I laugh when all the pundits and that are going, "Oh, United have got injuries," and it's like, fuck off.
No.
But
the thing is, Sionchu back.
Yeah, I hope so. I really do.
So
he's another one who's 50-50, I'm pretty sure.
That's my gross misspelling. But so that's a question mark on Sionchu. So if Sionchu is a question mark, then is it you're just going to get someone for the academy or something? Is it going to be? Do you have any like up and coming academy centre backs that can play there that are near around?
No, not really. I suppose we go free at the back and just go fuck it, like all out attack, don't you? You probably play Castagne as a centre back with Marty and Vestergaard. Marty and Vestergaard, and then just throw the kitchen sink at you.
Yeah, something like a 3-5-2 maybe. Right back.
Ricky P. Please, Ricky, don't let me down. Please be available. No, he's another one he's had hamstring injuries throughout the season, but I do think he's all right tomorrow.
How do you spell his surname again? Sorry.
I don't know. I'll just put Ricky.
Ricky. There we go. The score. Right. Okay. How's our midfield looking? So, how is your midfield looking? So,
right. Should we start left to right or
yes,
right to left?
probably. We'll start left to right.
Barnes.
Okay. He's fit, isn't he? Yep. Okay.
That's in.
Yeah, he's a threat.
Yuri Tielemans.
Oh yes, Tielemans. Yep. Okay. So midfield looking good. Okay.
I'm going to go Hamza Chowdhury. He's more of a defensive, aggressive midfielder than Samare, but
yeah,
I think Tielemans and Samare are too similar to play next to each other. You don't have that defensive ability. That's why I've gone Chowdhury.
Okay.
Right wing, Ademola Lookman.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
He's a baller, by the way.
Yep, he is.
Quality player. Then front two of Vardy and Iheanacho.
Yep.
So, by the look of both teams' defences, we could be in for a basketball score.
Yeah.
Could be quite a fun game for the neutral, or terrifying to watch if you're a Leicester or a United fan.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I almost suspect, that I almost suspect that there's going to be a lot of goals in this game. There's going to be a lot of goals in this game. Eric, and I'll go to the Manchester United stuff. I think later, but I've always thought Eric Bailly is actually a solid defender. But over last season, I saw that it was Bailly and Maguire. But any other partnership, essentially, you have to have Bailly and Maguire and Varane, fine. Any other partnership, you can maybe have Maguire and Lindelof at a stretch, but really, it's got to be the first two. Sorry, man, sneezing. No, cool. I don't have that. But any other partnership, and we struggle basically. It's difficult, and we get exposed because of the lack of pace that we have in that centre back position.
The thing is, as well, with Lindelof and Vardy, I don't know how many times you're going to come up against that like old school front two strikers. It's something very different, but not a lot of teams play with these days. So that could be something difficult. And then if you're a rusty centre back, probably the one player you don't want to be playing against is Vardy, who's going to be like niggling into you, trying to run off that shoulder, running in between the two centre backs. And then also Iheanacho, I fancy him to bully Lindelof in the air, because Iheanacho is very, very underrated in the air, and his ability to hold the ball up to win headers and stuff. And Lindelof, I think he's a tidy ball playing centre back and all of that, but in the air he can be got at.
No, I agree. That's for me is a big weakness with them. Though. I mean, FC's line is De Gea and Wan-Bissaka. Delot don't really care who. I do, because Delot showed in that Champions League game that his defending was garbage, and he gets exposed on that flank. By Lindelof, Telles, Matic, Leibel, Vichard, Jadon, Bruno, Martial, and Cristiano Columbus. Does that mean is Shaw injured? I thought Shaw's back. Is he injured again? Double check. Sorry, let me just double check that. I thought that Shaw was back. He's still injured. No, I think he's fit. Yeah, no, he's fit. He's fit. My go, Lindelof. He's definitely not my go. Right. So I'm gonna just quickly. So this is obviously the thing what the Leicester starting lineup is. I'm gonna just quickly refresh this, and we're gonna try and do what I think is the Manchester United one. Obviously, and if you have any comments about it, let me know. Go. So we obviously will play. Ollie will play a 4-2-3-1. I've got no doubt about that. I'm putting in what I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to pick, not necessarily what I want, just based on the options that he has.
Can you do a charity and put Lee Grant in goal for us?
It wouldn't even be Lee Grant. It would be what's his name?
Tom Heaton, isn't it?
Tom Heaton, who's actually not bad, to be honest. Like a fit Tom Heaton is actually okay. But De Gea's one of the positives of this, that for this season for United is that De Gea's sure isn't in good form for me. That's why. Okay, yeah, and I don't disagree with that, to be honest. I would have tried Telles at left back for a bit, but my lineup is going to be what I think Ollie's going to pick, and I just don't see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer dropping Luke Shaw. So he'll play De Gea in goal, unfortunately, and he'll probably will play De Gea in goal. I wouldn't be surprised if he switched him for Henderson, though, to give Henderson a bit more game time. But I suspect De Gea will be in goal. Then at centre-back, it will be... Oh, sorry, no, actually, that's two. I'll come back to that. At centre-back, he'll play Bay and Lindelof because we just don't have any other centre-backs.
Interesting fact, you know Harry Maguire's never played in front of a full King Power since he's left?
Oh, yeah.
I find that quite mad, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Because obviously lockdown and stuff, so with no fans, and then, and he's been out being about injured. Yeah. What would happen? Is it a shame because you guys welcoming him with open arms? You wouldn't boo him, you'd say, well done, Harry, welcome back.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking. He'll get a lot nicer reception than Chilwell, so... The thing is, I don't mind Harry Maguire. He went on good for him. He got his big move and all of that. His brother Joe Maguire, I've never seen someone who lives off someone else's success more than him in his life. But Harry Maguire takes a lot of banter from Leicester fans, but he gives some back. But it's just his brother Joe Maguire's.
Yeah,
just get out of his shadow.
Yeah, just chill out, mate. Chill out.
That's it.
That's Fred not playing. So yeah, so that is something. So basically, United will be without Varane, Maguire, and Fred, who's obviously going to be not going to be back isolating from international duty, and also will be out without Cavani as well. So those are the notable absentees from this squad. Aside from that, I think everyone else I know is fit. So Shaw obviously will come in as left back. I suspect Aaron Wan-Bissaka will come in as right back as well. So the midfield is always going to be the interesting one. He's not going to play Donny van de Beek, so there's no point in even starting that debate. It's not going to happen. I suspect that he will probably put Pogba and McTominay back in the midfield. He did that against... who did he do that against? He did that against Villarreal. It was bad, but we won the game. FC says, please take Maguire back.
Burn the receipts, mate. Burn the receipts.
Please take Maguire. He's not that bad. Maguire with Varane, Maguire is he does make one or two mistakes, but he's just not worth 80 million. But I wouldn't say he's garbage.
The thing is, I'll say Maguire's underrated but overpriced. He's one of those players, because of the price tag he's had, he's always going to be like, there'll be like clips of him making mistakes everywhere and he'll get slated because of his price, which isn't his fault, but it's the responsibility that he has now with that price tag of 80 million. Cheers for that, United.
Where am I? Sorry. So yeah, I think that Pogba and McTominay are going to start. They did play together against Villarreal, where, to be honest, the Manchester United midfield, whatever it has been this season, has been garbage. I've not actually seen a functioning midfield. Even Matic, Pogba, and Bruno, who played against Wolves, we were bypassed. It's just not. And he obviously says, Frank, we need Frank Kessie in January. I mean, that's a good signing. I wouldn't say that he's a DM though. That's the only thing. And Poops Jacks on Twitter, Washington. Thanks for those who are watching on Twitch, by the way. Like, if you're watching, I've got a Twitch channel, links in the description, so head over to that. Leicester is low-key trash this season.
It's hardly low key, is it? Everyone's been mocking how poor we've been, but thing is, like, we've had the defensive injuries, but even so, we should be doing more than what we have been. So I've said, though, a result against a team like United for us could be like a real momentum changer.
Exactly, yeah.
So we're only, 7 games in? So, yeah, we've been awful so far. But a win against you lot, man, all of a sudden we're up to the dizzying heights of 9th. And then who knows? So I think it's too early to write this season off yet. Like a lot of people have been for us.
There's too many. There's still. I mean, to be honest, I only really start to see progress when you get to around the Christmas period, even at the top of the table, like I've been seeing United are in a crisis. I'm like, well, but all owners are not going to say that United in a crisis when you're only 2 points off first. That's not a crisis. 10 points off fourth is a crisis. 2 points off first isn't a crisis, in those terms. It's just the football. But yeah, I think that Pogba and McTominay are going to come back in here for 2 reasons. One, obviously, no Fred. He could play Matic and McTominay, but I think that he will want to get Pogba in this game because I do think that because we've been told that Marcus Rashford he's fit, he's back. He's not said he's going to start or not, but knowing Ollie, as much as I would like him to put him on the bench, I think that he'll want to play Rashford as soon as possible. That's why I think in order to get Rashford into the team, and I'll say this even for the United fans that are listening as well. This for me is going to be United's conundrum going forward because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer likes to play Pogba on the left at times to get him into the team. But with Rashford back, you have basically several undroppables. You can't drop Maguire when he's fit. You can't drop Shaw really when he's fit. You can't drop Rashford when he's fit. This is Ollie, by the way. And you can't drop Ronaldo generally when he's fit. So if he's going to play Rashford on the left, as he will do, especially because he has Greenwood and Sancho on the right, there's not going to be a space in this squad for Pogba, and the only place to play Pogba is in the midfield. So why I said that long spiel was that I think that the midfield of Manchester United going forward is going to be different unless Ole Gunnar Solskjaer risks dropping Pogba. He can't play McTominay and Fred in that midfield unless he drops Pogba because he's not going to drop Rashford. Does that make sense?
Yeah. The thing is, I think with Ollie, he's got his favourites, hasn't he? So it's just, you've got so many options that there's going to be players that are unhappy. And I think he persists with certain players that probably don't deserve the amount of game time they've got. And then other players who probably deserve a bit more game time will be feeling hard done by. But he's chosen to bring in this many attacking players without moving some on. It's now his responsibility to keep everyone happy and sort of keep obviously the attacking fluidity there with those players. Because in terms of attacking talent, you've probably got the best in the league up there with Liverpool and Man City. So there should be no excuses from him.
He won't drop Pogba or Rashford, but in the big games, he will drop Sancho. I mean, but the thing is that he's not going to play. He's not going to. I mean, I guess he could play Rashford on the right, but I would just think it would be very strange if you've got basically 2 right wingers now. You've got Greenwood and you've got Sancho, and I just don't think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would drop both of them and play Pogba on the left and Rashford on the right, especially when you have Cavani, Martial, and Ronaldo. So as you said rightly, and we've got so many attackers. So Ollie can't forcibly put Pogba as a left-side attacker anymore. Now that Rashford has come back, he's got to play him forcibly in the midfield, which means that we're not going to see Donny van der Beek, but he's now going to make a decision between, do I persevere? Because I suspect what might happen going forward is that he will try and make the midfield of McTominay and Pogba to work.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to play Fred and McTominay whilst Rashford and a couple of us are fit anytime soon.
It's a hard one to know because I'd say Ollie is one of the most unpredictable managers with stuff like this. So you'd hope not. Also, saying about your attacking players, what's happened to Diallo? I really liked the look of him at the end of last season, and I just haven't seen him mentioned at all.
So he was supposed to go out on loan to Feyenoord in the Dutch league, but then he picked up an injury, and he's only really just coming back from it. He was out for a good 6 weeks, I think. So I think what he's trying to do is get his fitness back up, and I think he's going to go out on loan from January. I think, which I think is the right thing because we just have. I agree with you. I just think that we have too many attackers, and he was another right winger. But it's like, where's he going to play?
He was a strange signing, weren't he, though? You brought him in, and then the next summer you brought in Sancho. And I like Diallo. I do hope he breaks through with you guys. But yeah, I find that whole transfer really strange.
We bought two. We bought Palestra and Diallo. It was almost kind of like, right, okay, we need to get two wingers. We couldn't get Sancho, so let's try and or should we get them for the future, or is this one of those things where, because I wouldn't mind it if United were a club where you made all these signings and they didn't make it, but you can then sell them off for profit like Chelsea do with their youngsters. But what we seem to do is you seem to make all these signings and they just seem to just stay in the under 23s and not really do much, and then leave or go out on loan for a bit. And there's no real plan with it. So we either buy these young players, develop them by sending them out on loan, and they making them good and then sell them for profit, or we play them. We don't seem to be doing both.
The thing is, you spent big money. Well, I say big money, like probably not in terms of United, but for Diallo, for a youth player, he wasn't cheap at all. He was quite expensive, wasn't he?
No, I agree. He was. I'd actually raise a question for you. And Rand, what is going on with Maddison? And do you like Leicester to play two strikers at once?
So let's split that down. So let's go to the Maddison one first. So Maddison, he looks like his confidence is absolutely shot at the moment. And I really like James Maddison as a player, but I think he really needs to just get his head down, focus, and try and really sort his form out. Because on his day, he's arguably one of our best players, but he's had an awful start to the season. So the thing is, players go through spells like this. It's just about I just hope that he can come through it the other side. And then in terms of playing two strikers at once, I love it. I think it's when you've got two strikers like Iheanacho and Vardy who complement each other, I like it. Not when it's just two strikers that are sort of both want to be the focal point. Because when we play with Iheanacho and Vardy, Vardy's plays slightly more advanced. Iheanacho can drop deeper, collect the ball, play with his back to goal, be more of that link man. So in the dynamic that we have, I think it works well, but you've got to have the right partnership for it to work.
And it seems that Iheanacho and Vardy are forming that partnership, which is really good to see. I'll get to the rest of your comments in a second, guys. I just want to finish this starting lineup. So, as I said, I put Pogba and McTominay there. Rashford will be on the left. Obviously, in the number in that position, it's going to be Bruno. Bruno's going to come back in. I suspect, based on form, he will play Greenwood over Sancho. I could be wrong, but I think he'll probably go Greenwood there. And then in the number 11 position, obviously because Cavani can't play, it's going to be Cristiano Ronaldo for up top. My issue with this formation is that I never trust this midfield, because what happens here is that Pogba actually plays the deeper role, but McTominay plays further and can't really pass, and so it just doesn't really work, and we lose the midfield battle often because they just don't pass. The other thing as well, we're playing Rashford and Greenwood over side, is that Rashford and Greenwood are more inside forwards and are often quite selfish. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's also lack of service on this end from Rashford and Greenwood supplying Ronaldo, who will need service, because obviously he's a goal scorer right now. He's not a winger, Ronaldo. He's a goal scorer, and he needs that support. So I can easily see this type of team actually struggling against Leicester, especially if you're very compact, as we've started to struggle. And really, it's going to be a kind of a moment of brilliance for us to really be able to, I think, get something from this game. Unless, like, maybe Marcus Rashford coming back from injury, he just somehow does a madness because he's suddenly fully fit. But I think this is going to be a lot close. I think this is going to be very close. And yeah, I'd be very surprised if this team went out fully to go and get. The only thing I guess I would say is that if Lindelof has a good game, if this works, Lindelof has a good game, and Bai can sort of push up, I think we'll win. Because if Lindelof, go on.
Sorry, I was saying on paper you should win just purely on the fact of what our defense is compared to what your attack is. But obviously it's not played on paper, and I think that we can definitely get at that midfield and defense. But equally, I think you like a Marty and Vestergaard against Ronaldo just worries me.
I mean, Ronaldo doesn't have a lot of pace, or as much as pace as he had. So I mean, Ronaldo obviously has the skill and the technique, and I think that's obviously his big game. So he like it won't be. I mean, not that Vestergaard has particularly much pace, so like it'll be an interesting battle. I think is the term. I think the thing about Ronaldo is that because of his name, I think what happened is that he will draw defenders to him.
I think with Ronaldo, it's not his pace that really worries me particularly. It's the positions that he picks up in the box. But I think without ndidi, there won't be players sort of picking him up as much. And then you've got a Marty and Vestergaard or Siunchu, whoever it may be. Siunchu just, I don't know. We really lack that leader at the back without Johnny Evans, and I think Ronaldo, Fernandes, both very clever players at picking up those pockets of space. Which I think if we do concede, it wouldn't surprise me if it's goal, but from a ball into a pocket of space that creates the moment.
Now that's not going to happen CFC time. What's more likely going to happen is that Chelsea are going to absolutely destroy and dominate Brentford. That's the most likely scenario, not United doing that 5-1. Get well soon, Fofana. Yeah, the Fofana injury was that was not good at all at the beginning of the season. Was it Europa League?
Pre-season
friendly. Yeah, it was the pre-season save against
Villarreal,
and yeah, I remember seeing that tackle and thinking that was so unnecessary and unneeded. It just didn't have to happen.
Yeah, that's basically that. That along with James Justin's injury has really left us in the that's left us in the shit. Him and Johnny Evans, but thing is, get on with it, don't you? You got to see what you can do, patch yourself up, and go again.
Fair enough. Oh, Armchair Critic with a super chat. Thank you so much, Armchair Critic. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Do you guys think Ollie's getting sacked this season? We've kind of touched on it, but if you want my straight opinion, obviously I'll ask this question to Ant as well. No, I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will get sacked this season because I think that the standard for me of the board, not for me, but of the board Manchester United, is that he gets top 4. That I think is just, even though we paid him Ronaldo Sancho, but I think him getting 4th is enough. And so when I look at this Manchester United team is good enough to still get 4th. Arsenal, Spurs, maybe they might clock on. I don't know. They don't look like they're consistent. Leicester, again, same. We'll see. So I just think this team is good enough to get 4th, and that alone, I think, will make him secure trip. I think if he gets 5th, then I think he's gone. Yeah. And do you have any thoughts about that?
The thing is, 4th is bigger than a trophy for your board because it financially is worth more than like an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup. So if he finishes 4th, your board, they're happy with him. Like I honestly don't think from what I read about your board is they couldn't care less if you finish 4th and about 40 points off the title or 2nd and a point off the title. Financially, there's no difference to them, and they're money men at the end of it.
Yeah, and that's what comes to, and that's why I'm sort of resigned. I'd love Manchester United to make for title charge, and you saw what thingy did, Bram did with Lampard. Sacked him, brought Tuchel in, they won the Champions League. I'm not saying that would necessarily happen with United going forward, although it might. But I just think that the standards of the club set by the board are just different, and whatever you say about this team, his team is still good enough to get fourth. So I think that if he gets fourth and if he has a decent qualifiers in the Champions League group, and even then, even if we drop into the Europa League, if he was to somehow win that, which I don't think he would, I just think the only way Oli gets sacked is if we are considerably amount of points from fourth place. Not from top, from fourth, and he loses the dressing room. That's the only instance where I've seen it. If the dressing room, and from we have the dressing room have no real problem or no issues, he'll be there. He'll be there.
Yeah, you said about if you drop down to the Europa League and lost for five and sort of won that, but even when you didn't win that, he got offered a new contract because he got fourth. So
exactly, that's what I'm saying. That's what people need to say. It's just like. He got offered a new contract after that, or even if they were discussing it, but that the thing was still made official when despite the fact that he literally that's what he got. That's why I tell people it's like he finished second, and he's had no trophies in the last 2 years, and he's finished second and a top four both, and he was offered a new contract. So there you go. Yeah. The contract was not based on this contract is determined on you winning a trophy in the next season. Otherwise, we're going to sack you. Otherwise, you wouldn't have given him a new 4-year contract.
I find it so strange because the philosophy and sort of the mindset of Man United has changed so much. Before it was that like siege mentality of trophy, like winning hauls of trophy, and now it's just top four and sort of keep the board happy. It's just like. I don't know. It's not the Man United of old.
No, I agree. United, Red Side of Madrid says 3-1 United win. So trophyless is okay for the board. Yes. As long as they get fourth, yes, it is. People are like, but it is armchair. It is, because why would you offer someone after losing the Europa League final a 4-year contract?
He's got a 4-year contract.
I think was it 3 to 4 years? I think 3 to 4 years.
Fair play. His agent he's on point.
3 to 4 year contract extension. So that's the thing. So that's the board for you. So as we just start beginning to wrap things up, no approaching the hour mark. And then I saw a few people posting their score predictions as well. And score predictions. How do you see this game going down, man?
Do I have to answer this one? I've had a good time at this point. I just don't. With our defensive issues, I really just don't see us getting anything from this game. And you know me, I'm normally like the most optimistic Leicester fan with stuff. I just don't see it. I really don't. So with my heart, I'm going to say 2-2, but I really don't expect it.
So what's your head saying?
3-1 United.
Oh, so just like the Red Side of Madrid, 3-1 United. Who would you say is to score the goals?
Vardy.
Okay.
Probably an own goal from Vestergaard. Okay. And then Ronaldo, and then I don't know, Luke Shaw. Just scrappy tap in.
Luke Shaw.
Like, he doesn't score unless he's playing against Leicester. So
I like how sort of citizens. So if I'm not though, no, don't worry, Chelsea for the treble. So there's a lot of there's this thing going around this sort of space of like reverse psychology. Where rival fans just basically like say that certain teams should just win in order to take pressure off their other teams by jinxing them. So I don't know why this happens in this community around, but it happens. So the only way to combat it is to basically say to the other team, no, you guys are going to destroy, and it's fine. So Rasmus says Ollie's getting a contract extension was a disgrace, but not a surprise. I agree. And S, I see your comments about Ronaldo. I see them. That's your opinion as a Chelsea fan. You just focus on Lukaku doing his thing. That's all I'm saying. So my predictions, though, it's funny that you said 3-1 because I also think that we're going to concede a goal because I just think that defense is just not going to work. It's going to leak a goal at least. A lot of it will be dependent on the form of David De Gea. I think that at least at the start of the game, you'll start very, especially if you go with a back three as opposed to back four. I think you might be a lot more compact, which I think will cause us problems. So I don't think we're going to be able to move the ball quick. We often start games really badly, very slow, very lethargic.
It's going compact. Typically, when we go as a 4-4-2, that's when we're most compact because we have the bank of four, obviously, then with two wing backs sitting deep, with then the four midfielders as well sitting deep. So compared to when we play with the three, the wing backs both get really far forward. So we'll be more expansive if we play as a back three compared to a back four, which I know is against sort of the normal grain of how those formations work.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's. Oh man, I'm just not. The thing is, it's both like we're both not looking forward to this game. It's really weird like that. Like I'm not looking forward to this because it wouldn't surprise me if, especially with the whole Leicester have so many injuries, not doing great, and then to get your momentum, you beat Manchester United. We do seem to be that team that teams play against, coming for momentum, they get it. This is sort of the start of a United run, which includes Atalanta, Spurs, Liverpool, and Manchester City. And that's at home and away. And so we're going into a difficult run, and we need to win games. So I'm probably going to say 2-1 as a little bit of faith with maybe Ronaldo and Rashford to score. Some people saying Rashford's a bit too early, but from the press conference vibe I got, Ollie's not confirmed it, but I think if Rashford is able to kick a ball and run, he's going to be going into that team. That's just Ollie's stubbornness. Otherwise, I would probably play. You probably have to play Sancho and Greenwood, I think, or Martial, who actually had a good game against Everton until he got taken off.
Has Sancho scored a goal for you yet?
No, not even. I don't think
he's guaranteed to score tomorrow. Then he's like, it's just typical Leicester, isn't it? Give him a first goal. If the player hasn't scored for about 6 months, play Leicester. He'll go himself. We'll
see.
So
we'll see. Yeah. Well, hopefully there is to shine because like he's not. For me, from what I've seen, he's not. He's getting better, but I just don't. But he's not really. How can I put it? Improved. I want to say improved. He's improved, but I mean he's not landed. He's still settling in exactly. So, and I always do think it's harsh to judge a player complete on one season. With the exception of Timo Werner, which I thought was right to, because there were some things he was doing where you're like, a basic footballer should know how to do that.
Was one of those things putting a Chelsea shirt on, so it meant that the criticism was up here.
Oh man!
I don't think if he was at any other club than Chelsea, he wouldn't have got slated anywhere near as much as he did. But he was making basic mistake after basic. Like
that's the thing. I think it's the popular mistakes, and I also think it was a testament to how good Julian Nagelsmann was as a manager. Because obviously he played him with Poulsen and a few others that are not that great, but he managed to get that team to a Champions League semi-final. So that's what I look at in good managers. Whereas you take him away from that, and suddenly it's like, ooh, okay, this guy, he's a bit questionable. He's a bit questionable, right? And by the way, guys, if you have any questions, we'll wrap up next 2 minutes. So if you guys have any questions for me or Anne, post them in the chat now. Please get them in chat. If you have any questions for me, Anne, get them in chat now. We will address them and then we'll head off in next 2 minutes or so. So I guess finally, Anne, just tell me a bit about, like, tell the viewers about your channel, like what you do as a Leicester fan, like how things go on, etc., like what you're hoping to achieve. I've just seen you hit 3K subscribers, so congrats, man. Yeah, just a bit about that, man.
Yeah, so just Leicester channel, home and away match day content, really. I've been quiet over the last 3 weeks because I've started a new job, so that has been sort of my priority. But from this weekend, I'm really getting back into it. Gonna have a match day vlog out tomorrow. In the seats literally right next to the United away end, so that should be fun. So looking forward to it.
Cool. And like I said, link will be in the description, and obviously head to his Twitter page, head over to his channel, subscribe, guys. I mean a lot. S-Man says, who will win the Ballon d'Or? I say Jorginho, which would be a disgrace. But
Jorginho or Lewandowski for me.
Jorginho can't win the Ballon d'Or. He can't. I know he's won the trophies, but it's not like...
I hope he wins it just to piss off people more than anything, because I think it'll be absolutely hilarious. Because like everyone apart from Chelsea fans is saying it's a disgrace. I think it would be absolutely brilliant purely for that reason.
And even some Chelsea fans I know are like, we think Kante's better. So it's like the fact that like Jorginho win a Ballon d'Or before Kante, who obviously was part of the Leicester winning Premier League side. Obviously won the Champions League, and he's got a World Cup medal. He's been one of the best DMs in world football for several years, and Jorginho is going to win a Ballon d'Or before him. It just seems like that's an injustice. That's a total injustice. But you know, it is what it is. So CFC time. This isn't a question, by the way. He's made his debut. You know, I'll leave it at that. I'll leave that. Put in a question. But for me, Lewandowski or Messi, I think win it, because Messi, I think, won the Copa America for Argentina, and because of Messi's popularity, I just wonder whether that and alone will take him through. And I think it's a question for you from the Red Side of Madrid. Do you see Brendan Rodgers leaving Leicester anytime soon?
No, he's had the opportunity to leave 3 or 4 times. He turned down Arsenal, smart man. He turned down Tottenham. He's
smarter.
Yeah, and this week he's turned down Newcastle. So he's happy at Leicester. He's not in a hurry to move, is the way I should say it. I think he's very content where he is. He's got the backing of the board. He's got the backing of the players. He's had a huge influence on how the academy's been reshaped. So he's very much the man at Leicester, and it's being built around what he's doing. So I think he's going to be here for the long run. But at the same time, if he does go on, all the best to him. But I just don't see it happening anytime soon, particularly with the clubs and what he has turned down.
Fair enough. Fair. Shout out to Rich Sports, by the way. Rich, hope you're doing well, buddy. I'm hopefully coming to your channel soon at some point, man. For those watching, head over to Rich Sports channel. We post a lot of very good content. Non United YouTuber as well.
Going on this channel in about 55 minutes.
Oh, right. Better wrap this up, Ben. Do we have any other questions here? Yeah, CFC says Kante Miles better. Rasmus A says PSG's 100s. If things like this, it'll be a disgrace. I mean, sort of, because they are kind of like, it looks like they're 6 points ahead of the top, so they can probably just chill, and they don't really know. Any other questions? Cool. I don't see any other questions. I just see a few comments about Messi and Lever. CFC Suns, great stream. Good, thanks. And let's run out there. Thanks for that, CFC, and thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. Like you're a solid guy, and I'm just sad that like we desperately have to get 3 points from you guys tomorrow. We really need those 3 points. I wish it wasn't you, but it's nothing personal.
I'm hoping equally. I know you need the 3 points, but we need them as badly. But it's always a good laugh coming on. Never anything too serious, just a bit of fun. A
bit of banter. And that's how it should always be with football fans, banter and respect. Guys, that's it. We're finished. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, remember to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Obviously, head over to Ant's Leicester Fan Channel. Subscribe to the channel as well. Give them some support. Have a nice day, everyone. And cheers.